All right, we are live. It always takes a few seconds, so let's see. Hello, Albie. Hello. Albie, I need to watch your Again the Magic video. I saw you posted it, but I'm scared to watch it.
I know, that's how I felt too.
Titled it something like, what was her title? It was like, why is this book so popular or something like that? I was like, oh god. Oh no.
Yeah. I noticed that Lisa Kleypas was getting slandered on TikTok, and I was like, I don't want to be on this corner of TikTok at all.
Again?
No. That's not on my algorithm because I'm just a fangirl for her.
Was it Twitter that attacked her earlier, right?
Lisa Kleypas?
For
yeah,
what?
that's why she went and changed things in her books. Because like,
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that.
Why is TikTok mad?
She did change. I think it was Twitter, maybe. I know she changed Secrets of a Summer Night for sure, and like never told anyone. And I read the new one, and it's weird.
Well, like removed the prologue.
That's what's weird.
Like created a weird vibe to when they first met. Like I was very much like, why is Annabelle treating him this way? Like I don't understand. Like I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah. I also know that for was it Hello Stranger? Yeah, I think it was Hello Stranger. She took out a scene because he was like having sex with, and there was like Orientalism kind of part of that. And I know she changed a bunch of the Hathaways because of the way that the Romani people were depicted, and so she like changed a lot of that. So like some of it she changed for good reasons, and then some of it was like I think she just changed it and she just like took stuff out. And it was really weird because I have like the copies with the step backs, but I would listen to them on audio and I'll like read along at the same time, and it would be like, oh, I'm part of the book now. Okay.
Yeah. For Mine Till Midnight, it made sense because there was a slur in that book, so she fixed it. But the one for Secrets of a Summer Night, she took out scenes but left in scenes that referenced the scenes she took out. So it was like, it was very confusing. But anyways, I love Lisa Kleypas. That wasn't the point. I don't know where we got.
I love her too. Sorry, I probably started.
Yeah. I finally read Again the Magic, and it turns out that I actually had read it in high school. Like as I was reading it, I was like, oh, I remember this book. I thought you read it with a friend of mine, and so I enjoyed it. It was fun. I enjoyed that there were like very frank discussions about contraception, which was like really great for. I think it came out in like the 90s, I believe, like 93, 92. I can't remember, but yeah. So I enjoyed it.
What did you rate it?
Probably like a 4.5. I don't really do the whole like star rating anymore. Like I remember that like people do that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have to come up with a star rating for the books that I'm reading. But like, yeah, I in general I tend to just kind of, I'm more vibes.
Cool. I'm the same way. All right, so we are here for the Historic Hellions live show. We are going to be talking about Across the Moonlight Sea, yes, by Marsha Canham. So we'll go around and introduce ourselves, and we'll talk about our star ratings. Crystal, you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was the first book I've read from this author, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So I liked it.
Cool. Awesome. Jess?
I'm Jessica from Peace Love Books. I gave it 2 stars.
That's gonna make for a good conversation, though, Jess. I want to know why this is gonna be good.
Next.
I'm Annie from A Funny Girl Named Annie on Instagram, and I gave this a 3.5, 4 stars.
Cool. I'm Samantha from Books with Samantha, and I read it last week, so I had time to think about rating. And at first it was like a 4.5, but I'm just gonna give it a 5 instead of doing a half rating. I really enjoyed it, so this is fun because we have all types of ratings.
I heard a few people when we did Sea of Ruin for our book club last month, and someone in the comments was like, I tried to read Across the Moonlight Sea after this and I absolutely couldn't. And I'm like, yeah, that would be an abrupt style change to go from
definite different types of books. I read the audiobook as well.
My mom was
Yeah.
listening to the audiobook and like shared me a clip because I physically read it and I was like, oh, I like that. I couldn't place the accent though.
Yeah.
And see, that was something that I felt like I listened to the audio too, which is why I read it. And I feel like that narrator really elevated it for me and just made it so much more enjoyable and almost like cinematic. Like it reminded me of like an 80s pirate movie. That was the vibes I was getting. And I was like, I am here for this. It was just, it was so unexpected in that way. So
yeah, no, I agree. I also listened to the audiobook. Like I read some of it, but most of it I listened to the audiobook actually like while I was driving home for the holidays. And this is also a reread for me because I read it for the Thirsty Wallflowers. We did like an entire pirate summer, and this was one of the books that we read, and, which is why I was like, oh, I really want to talk about it because it's so bonkers. It's just like such a bonkers old school historical, and like sometimes I'm really down for that.
Yeah, that's why I like old school historicals, is because of just the crazy wildness that you don't normally get with like newer releases. I listened to the audiobook too, but I swear to God, guys, I cannot find this book. This is like the second month this has happened to me. Like I have no idea where any of my books are for historicals. It's a mess. So I was like, I have to read that audiobook.
that's literally me. Like I have this copy without a step back, but I also have this copy with a step back. I don't know why. And I couldn't find the step back one. And I'm like, I know it's here somewhere. I just don't know where.
Yeah. At one point, my books were organized by author, by series, like in the author series. And I don't know what happened to that. It was, yeah.
I need to do that so badly. Organize them.
Mine is kind of all over the place because like, so I have up here, like I have a bunch of Lisa Kleypas, and then behind Lisa Kleypas, I have Lorraine Heath, and then Lorena Bell. And then here it's Rainbow Order. So it's just pure chaos. And then these guys are all different authors, except for this is like my library bookshelf. And then here, like the top is like series, and there's no order to like which series, or it's just the series that I enjoy. And then the rest is Rainbow Order. So good luck finding, like if I ever need to find a book, good luck to me.
That's literally me right now. It's horrible. But Jess, I am very curious. Why did you not vibe with this book?
What was it, girl? I want to know too.
Yeah. Okay, so Cheryl made a good point with what you just had on the screen. It was so tedious. It was like, we're gonna attack this ship. Oh look, now we're gonna attack this ship. Now we're gonna and I was like, okay, but like there wasn't a lot of development of the romance. I was so bored. For a 400-page book, there were like 3 pirate attacks, and that's all that happened through the entire book. And like you guys were talking about like bonkers plots, and I was like, okay, but like it was just a pirate attack. Yeah. Nothing like all the other bonkers books we read. I was like, so many more exciting things could have happened, and they were just like there. I don't know.
You know, that's sense. Sorry, go ahead, Samantha.
No, I just said that makes sense. Go ahead.
That is so fair. Like that was actually one of the major reasons why I was considering like not giving it a 5-star, is because there were so many pirate attacks. Like this had a lot of just pirate battles, and yeah, they were well written, but like I don't really care, you know, like it wasn't doing anything really to move the character. I mean, it was in a way, but it was like very tiny character development for all of these battles, and I felt like it was very much like in a way similar to Amanda Quick, where it's almost equally adventure and romance, or maybe the romance is even a subplot to the adventure, because this felt so typically adventurous, which I know is like a super popular thing at the time, but I also agree that I didn't feel like this was bonkers. I think something that this book did really well that kind of took me by surprise, that made me charmed, was how instantly the writing style, it felt very much like she deeply loves the romance genre. And this almost read a little bit like satirical, where she was kind of in love with the romance genre, but kind of poking fun of a little bit of the tropes, like how her hero was a little bit larger than life. That quality her writing had just really won me over. And yeah, I agree with you. There were way too many battle scenes, but I chose to overlook that because I felt like overall it was a fun read.
Yeah, I didn't mind the battle scenes too much, but I'm definitely someone who likes the adventure books, like heist books. So to me, the adventure was kind of fun, I guess. I don't necessarily mind that too much. Someone had said that it did take away from the romance, or there wasn't enough romance. I don't know. Them like fighting side by side.
That's true.
So I really liked the pirate aspect. I loved the different battles. I thought that was like I don't know. I thought it added to the story. Like, I definitely can see what you mean by like there wasn't as much romance because of that, but I was here for it. I also, so the reason why I say bonkers is because when we had our first discussion of this book back in June, Gigi from Gigi Reads Romance went and like looked up a bunch of sea terms to try to figure out where they were having sex, and basically it was like, because there's like that scene where they have sex in the rigging, and it's actually like they're like several hundred feet above the, like, it's like, because there's like the top, she was like at the very very top of the mast, and that's where she fell from when he caught her, but they were still like most of the way up the mast. And so if like, and like there was like this discussion of just like, oh, the like rocking and the gentle, and it was like this was actually a much more like crazy sex scene than was actually like talked about, because they were like several hundred feet into the air, and if like one person made a wrong move, they would both plummet to their deaths.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I mean,
true.
I guess
That
it's
is
kind of
definitely
like
a
Sea of
bonkers
Ruin in
scene.
that sense, where she's like dangling from the freaking side of the ship.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's funny. That's hilarious.
We're on my channel, so we can say things like that.
I just feel like as a couple people were comparing it to Sea of Ruin, like there was such a complex plot to Sea of Ruin that like, and I realized I am a very plot-driven character where I need something to happen to make me enjoy the book. And it was just, oh, like obviously that guy was going to turn on him in the prologue, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you're trusting that guy, you're like, come have my back. He's like, okay. I was like, you're talking to a pirate. Like, of course he's not going to have your back. And then he spends the entire book wanting to go after him, and then we don't get that until the very end. But it's not like he's like seeking him out. They're just like sailing. So I don't know. I wanted more to the plot than just like battle after battle, like
Yeah.
them trying to actually do something. So
I
Yeah.
think people are comparing it to Sea of Ruin not because of they're similar, but just because they're both pirate books. Because they're
Yeah,
very
for sure.
different books. I think that's more so lack of reading other pirate books to have something to compare it to. Because the actual plot and the writing style, they're nowhere near the same.
but I mean, as a pirate
Completely.
romance, that was much more engaging plot-wise to me than this one was, where this one relied on the battles, and that one had a lot more going on in it, if that makes sense.
It did. It does also. I mean, I would argue that Sea of Ruin isn't necessarily a plot-driven book. I think it's mostly character and relationship dynamic driven through small moments in the plot that gets them to the end. And I think that's also maybe, even though I enjoyed this book, but I do feel like it was lacking that complexity in their relationship. It was pretty straightforward,
Mhm.
but it was also fun. I think that they had really good chemistry. Personally, I thought they really kind of had great chemistry in that way, and I liked it, but it was definitely lacking that like layer, that like below the surface layer that Sea of Ruin has. And honestly, like you just can't replicate Pam Godwin. Like you cannot. No one writes like her. It doesn't matter if it's a pirate book or what. You're just never gonna get that, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the real reason, one of the reasons why I enjoyed this so much is because like so many people have said that, you know, they kind of have been struggling with historicals recently. And I feel like when I picked this up, I was just so tired of like Regency and England. Like they were just felt so repetitive to me. And I picked this up and I was like I just had heard it was a pirate romance. I saw the audio was available and I was like, I'll give it a try. And it was just so different than what I had been reading or what I had been what I even thought that it was. It kind of took me off guard. And it makes me wonder how much it stood out at the time. Like in 1996, how many other books were like this, because like it is similar in a way to Amanda Quick's, but I'm wondering if there's anything really like it, and maybe that's something that made her stand out, because she's such a beloved author, you know, like she's got so many books out and people just love her. And I mean, I liked it, but I can talk about the criticisms of it, because it's not like a book that like gutted me, you know.
Yeah, I feel that it wasn't a holy grail book, but it was definitely like a solid recommendation that I could give someone. But I'm not a plot driven person. I'm like 100% character driven. Sometimes when the plot gets intense, I'm like, okay, this is fucking like I'm done. I'm like a small scenes person. Like I remember there was one scene where like the ships were going down. They just won one of the many battles, and they were just like, we did it. And then they go to each other and they kiss, and I'm like, I love romance. This news I'm like in love with, you know.
Yeah. So true.
I will say I have not read any Pam Godwin. I don't do the dark historical or pretty much any dark romance, and everything that I have heard about Pam Godwin seems like this would not be my vibe. But I really enjoy pirate romances, and I've read some that like I don't know. It's just I like the sea aspect. It also the first time I read it, I was like really into it because I had just watched Our Flag Means Death, and I was like very into like the pirate vibes. And so I don't know. I enjoyed kind of the more minutia of like trying to figure out like how to take down Spain and how like that kind of aspect of the plot. Like that was just like something fun to read. And I will say that I zipped through this, but like I zipped it. I listened to it at like 3.5 times speed because this was a reread for me. And I already listened to like books super fast, but like this one I was just like, just so that I had something that was a little bit more fresh than June. But it was just fun to kind of go back into that world and kind of go back into the mindset. And I also really liked how like there was so much respect that Bo had in especially like with her father, because a lot of like pirate romances that I've read, it's always like the girl is like sneaking away and like that kind of thing. And this was like very much, she was like an active member of the crew, and she was like this world-renowned navigator and map or cartographer, I think that's what it's called. But she made these like maps that like everyone had, and so she was like this incredible person just kind of in her own right. And like there was a little bit of the like, oh, I'm like sneaking away, but that was like more in the past, and they've kind of like moved forward, and she's just now another member of the crew. And I also loved how much respect that why can't I remember the hero's name? I just read this, but I can't remember his name. But I loved how much respect he had for her and had for the way that she navigated things. And like there was that moment at the very last battle where he is in he's like reliant on the like navigator who just isn't as good, and he's like I hope we make it. Like if Bo was behind the wheel, I would have no qualms about making it, but like I don't know him, and he's not willing to take the same risks and that kind of. And so like I love that part of the character, because I feel like while a lot of historicals do have like heroines that are interesting and they have like different character traits, partly because like they are the main character of a story, this felt so fresh and new in ways that I haven't read as much in other historicals.
Yeah. With it being like more character driven, like we're talking about, there was a lot of side characters. I was a little like confused on how many side characters there were, and then I looked and I'm like, this isn't a series, so it's not like we get their romances or anything. So if I had to pick one thing I didn't like, I was kind of like, there were side characters I loved, like the father and stuff like that, but then some I was just like, okay, I'm tired of hearing about them.
I agree with you about that. Yeah.
Which ones were you tired of?
Literally everyone but the father.
I liked Pitt and the Duchess. I enjoyed their dynamic, and how ultimately she's like, I've been lying to you, but then she ended up helping like save them because she gave them intel in ways that they would not have had.
Yeah.
I will say, like, political plot lines bore me too. So, like, the whole trying to figure out the war with Spain, I was like, I don't care about the war with Spain. Like, but I do think that old school historicals do the adventure romance so well. Because thinking of like Amanda Quick books and even Kathleen Woodowis, like, those have so much going on and they're so fun to read. And like I think Shelley Thacker was another one I read that was so good. We don't see a lot of those. Like, do you know anybody who's currently writing like adventure historical romances?
No, a lot of I feel like kind of more retellings. There's like so many retellings when it comes to historicals, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, stuff like that.
I feel like the closest one is Sarah McLean's new series, and I wouldn't even call that an adventure per se, but like the plot in that book is a big element of the story, like going after the vigilante, the women who are vigilantes, you know, like that's
I don't remember the plot.
that. I think that feels the closest to an actual old school historical in that way.
I have one, but I have not read them, so I cannot like speak to what they're like. But I know that Victoria Alexander, her newest series is based on like adventuring, and so like one of them is set in France, one of them is set in Egypt, one of them is set in Venice, and one of them, I forget what the last one is set, but they're set in like other places. And I know that she has historically written more adventure romances. I'm trying to think if I have one handy. I don't have one handy, but she like I remember in high school, like she was one of the first people to have written like more of like archaeologist heroine, and so I think she has like some interest in that, and so she has written some more adventure-y, but I have not read her most recent series, so I don't actually know. Like, I cannot speak to say like, oh, it's definitely like old school, but I know that they're set in more adventure-y stuff, and because of the other books that she has written before, makes me think that they'll probably also be adventure-y.
Justin is the one I was thinking of, Kerrigan Byrne, like her spy romance one, the third one in the no, it's not Victoria Rebel series. What is that one?
Oh yes, I agree with this. Yes.
Yeah, where they're both spies and they're like taking down this like cult or whatever. That's very
for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Kerrigan Byrne, I would say.
Is that though her indie published, or is that still the Victorian Rebels?
I think that one's still with St. Martin's Press, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's what is that book called? It has a beautiful cover. Is it The Devil in Her Bed? Is that the one?
Yeah, it's like a red.
Oh, that series. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's in the same series as like 10 Ways to Love a Duke or something like that.
Yeah. Is she writing historicals anymore? I'm sad. I feel like she's doing
indie publishing.
Oh, has she?
Yeah. Well, she had that
mystery series,
on Kindle Unlimited for a little bit, and then I was so bummed. They had a historic romance signing here where like Julia Quinn was there, Anna Harrington, all these amazing authors, and Kerrigan Byrne was supposed to be there, and I had like all of her books in my bag ready to get signed, and she was not there.
Oh, that's sad.
I was so bummed.
She has kind of just like slowly, quietly.
Yeah.
But I know she wasn't happy with the direction that her published were like. They were kind of like not forcing her, but like they were pushing her in the direction of some books that she wasn't like vibing with. So I feel like maybe that's why. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just speculating. I don't know personally.
Because I remember when you, Jess, were on the live show with her and the Romance Book Squad, and she like talked about that. She talked about how like it vastly changed the marketing. This is like completely side note tangent, but I'm curious, Samantha, are you going to RomCon? Because I got tickets, and so I was wondering if I'm gonna see you there.
In Anaheim, I know for sure Lacey's going, and I know Carrie's going. I haven't bought tickets. I don't know.
Even if you don't end up going, we should just like meet up at a bookstore. I'd love.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's literally like 30 minutes away from me, so I'll meet up with you guys either. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how it's going to be organized.
It might be a shit show, but to be honest,
I have a feeling it might be.
Is that the one that Mel is putting on? Is that okay?
Yes, and I hope it goes well. I know a lot of
people well. But I also like after a Polycon have such low expectations that honestly I'm just there to like hang out with friends. Like I already have a group chat with people who are going, and I'm just like excited to like see people. And so if it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well.
BookCon stressed me the F out. Like I don't think I could ever do one ever. I just like all of those people. Like I went to Comic-Con once and I was like, never again. Absolutely never again.
I have a friend who's literally only coming for like Monday through Wednesday, and we're just like doing like Disneyland and book stuff and all of that, and we're hanging out, and then she's gonna leave when the convention starts. She's just like, I'm not even gonna, and I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, book signings are definitely a lot. I hope it goes well though, because the lineup of the authors is really nice, and I know she's been working really hard on it, so hopefully it goes well. But yes, we should meet up. I know for sure Lacey and Carrie are going though.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Jess, were you going to say something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say Cheryl's comment about going back to the like adventure romances. I was literally just about to say this, that Grace Calloway's one series where she is a spy. and like all the heroines are spies is really cool because it's like a take on Charlie's Angels. But that's indie published. I feel like yes, Olivia and the Master is the first one, and it was so good. I haven't read Pippa and the Something of Secrets. I don't remember what the second one's called. But I feel like these authors are allowed to do that in their indie published stuff because like Kate Bateman wrote that one that was like in Egypt that was like kind of like The Mummy where she found an artifact and like that was super fun.
Yeah, the 3 books in that series.
Yeah, but that's also indie published. So it's like these publishers just want like the traditional Regency. That's what Bridgerton is, which I love Bridgerton, but I can only read so many times about going to the ball and like being ruined and getting married and like it's a little bit more action and fun.
And I feel like also when it's traditionally published, you have those people who are like historical, I don't know what the correct word is, but they correct if there's even like a remotely like tiny historical fact that's not correct, people are like, you are doing this wrong. Potatoes weren't invented until 1821. I'm just like, shut up. So I feel like they're walking on
your enjoyment of the entire book.
I mean, sometimes that's fair though. Like I read a Lenora Bell book. I'm sorry, I wasn't gonna say her name, but like she used a line in the book with the purple cover. And it was something like she had booty for days, and I was like, "You did not just say that."
No, she didn't. What? Which one was that?
It's the purple one. It's such a pretty cover. What is that called?
The purple one.
Remember.
Oh, the Devil's Own Duke.
You really had to do this one?
Because the Devil's Own Duke is also the purple cover.
No, not that one. Let me look it up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I definitely read that and did not remember that line.
I did, and I was like, "Are you for real right now?
No way.
This is not happening." Yeah, I swear it. The Wallflower. Okay, the Devil's Own Duke. You're right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that is.
So... And it's funny how sometimes when like, I mean, that was a praise I heard about this book was how historically accurate it was. Like that battle happens actually. Like that's a real battle. Oh. And I mean, like you got to know a lot of history to be able to pick up on that. But when you have something that's like so completely anachronistic, like booty for days, I'm just like, I cannot. And so once I see something like that, then I like start noticing every single thing, you know? But
well, that's also, I know, a criticism of Sarah McLean's books is that her dialogue is very modern. And I don't know if that's why I don't love Sarah McLean's book, but like even Bombshell, I did not like. I was really bored by it. And I loved her older stuff, like her 9 Rules to Break series is my absolute favorite. But like since then, and like Dave the Duchess, I think I really liked, but some of her new stuff.
I think I was honestly pretty bored through a lot of Bombshell too. Like that was kind of disappointing to me. I ended up still rating it highly because I feel like something she does really well for me is like have such an emotional impact when the couple finally gets together. But I do think Heartbreaker was much better as far as plot and pacing goes. It was much better. But yeah, Bombshell, it felt so much like she was like trying to find her footing with this new series, which was weird because these are characters that she's known and has written like like a lot of people don't like Heartbreaker, but I really liked it. And I loved the hero, like he literally worships her, and it's the best thing ever. I can forgive a lot when the hero is really worshipful of the heroine. Like, I mean, that's all I'm asking for, you know?
Yeah. But I will say that Heartbreaker is incredible. It is probably one of my favorite Sarah McLean's. Like there's so much like he's just so obsessed with her.
He's so obsessed with her.
Horrible. And there's this game that they play with this box, and I won't like spoil anything if you haven't read it, but like there's this moment of like pure trust that happens with this box, and I like when that happened, I was like, I'm dead, I'm dying. Yeah. This is too cute. I can't handle it.
It was so good. Like she gets a lot of criticism. Actually, somebody just came into my comments in an old video, where I was kind of criticizing a Jude Devereaux book because I don't love Jude Devereaux. And look, y'all, like I started reading Jude Deborah when I was 14, but I don't think she's a great writer. I honestly am perplexed as to how popular she is. Anyway, I was talking about Sarah McLean in that video, and somebody was like, "You just keep talking about Sarah McLean, and she's terrible. Like she's just not good." And I'm just like, "You're on the wrong channel."
Yeah, and we all have that person. Although I do agree with the J's. Okay, Jude Devereaux, Judith McNaught. I don't know why any of them were ever popular. Like, go to my grave with that one.
And there are people who are ride or die Judith McNaught fans.
I know, but all
I
the
still
J's in
have not read a Judith
I'm like they weren't great. They really weren't.
Yeah.
Joanna Stroop is a J that I do love.
I love
She's
Joanna
so
Stroop.
good. Have you started, or I don't know if you've been reading historicals, have you started her new arc yet, Jess? I saw you
Not
have
yet.
it.
I'm gonna do that in December. I have a bunch of
I have the e-arc for that, and I'm so excited for it.
It's,
But I
I
also
was
have
denied the e-arc. So, well, not denied. They like still have not done anything. And I'm like,
You
it's
know,
really
I
too
feel
much.
like they've been slow to respond over there. Like, but for real, I worked so hard to get my NetGalley score high so I wouldn't get declined. But
Yeah. But also Scarlett Peckham. I don't know if you guys like the Ray Kess, but like I loved the Ray Kess. We've been waiting like over 2 years for the sequel, and it's on NetGalley, and it's still pending. And I'm just like, Avon, just go on.
So,
like, why are you on here?
Have you written Scarlett herself? You should write her. She would probably send you an arc.
Yeah.
Would
because
she?
I know she just got some.
That's how I got it from Joanna Stroop, because I was like, where are you leaving? She's like, I'll send it to you. Thank you.
So I'm gonna say something that's like, so because you had mentioned that they're like taking a long time to respond. So they're currently on strike.
That's true.
Over 2 months for me, though.
So
It was way before the strike.
For those of you who don't know, HarperCollins, all of their imprints are on strike right now because they're trying to get like equal pay. Like I think it's like a $5,000 raise and like more diverse hiring. And so it like, I don't know, HarperCollins just needs to get on their shit. But yeah, no, I read the new Joanna Stroop and I really, really loved it. It was like, it was one of those things where I was not expecting to get a arc for it because my NetGalley score is atrocious. It's like 20 or 30%. It's like, it's so bad.
It shocks me how they decide who gets arcs because literally mine is 95%. So like if I don't get an arc, I'm like
I get up on NetGalley. I cannot write reviews. Like I can't write reviews. I'll talk about it on my channel or on TikTok, Instagram, but something about putting reviews on Amazon and Goodreads, I'm always so behind on. So I gave up on NetGalley. Like I don't even ask for them at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there might just be one of the people on the marketing team who just likes my content because like I have gotten quite a few. Like Avon consistently gives me arcs even when I'm so bad about responding to them.
Avon does that for me too.
Yeah,
but there is one. It's Allie Hazel Berkeley. Berkeley doesn't like me. That's the only declines that I've gotten is from Berkeley, and I'm just like rude. Thank you. Really? 95% over here. I'm sorry.
So to my knowledge, Berkeley is like the hardest one to get. Like they in general tend to like reject a lot of people, and it has to do with like numbers. And the reason why I know that because like I grabbed lunch with Ali at a Polycon, and she talked about how a bunch of people got the arc for Love on the Brain who like aren't romance readers and who just like had a lot of like they had high follower counts, and so they were just like given the book because of that. And so her like first initial reviews were like got tanked, and she actually like she was like very much in her feelings at that moment where she was just like, I don't know if it's any good, and I'm just like, I'm willing to bet that it's wonderful. And I was able to read it that night. And so I saw her the next day and I told her like, it was incredible. I loved it so much. Like, I don't know why people, and she's just like, it might just be you who likes it. And I'm just like, I'm willing to bet that it's not just me who likes this book.
I would like to backtrack way back. Julie Garwood is my opinion, not included in the J's that I don't like.
She's good. I like her a lot.
Some people know that. And then you saw another comment that I need to clarify, which is also going way back. Kingdom of Dreams is the one exception when it comes to Judith McNaught. I love that book with everything in my soul.
Yeah.
So.
Isn't that so interesting how some authors just have like one book that resonates with so many people and then like they never kind of have another one that does that.
Yeah.
That's so fascinating to me. I think.
I've not read any Judith McNaught, so
Me neither, Annie, and I have
If
that
you
in a video
do
coming up.
Kingdom of Dreams, just
Kingdom of Dreams is the only one. But Annie's not gonna like Kingdom of Dreams because she doesn't like
well,
she doesn't like alpha heroes, and he is the definition. And there's consent issues, technically, not really, kind of, sort of. I don't think Annie, you would like it. Crystal, I think you would like it, but yeah.
That one has a really fun plot, though. Like,
I love that book. I think it's more disappointing in general, not with just Judith McNaught and my hatred for her, but just like when you start like one book by an author and you're like, this is fabulous, this is wonderful, I want to read more, and then you read more from the author and everything is trash. Like, what is that?
I will say though, Kingdom of Dreams does have death of a horse in it that was pretty graphic, and I was like, no. So
I appreciate that. Somebody else told me that because so I was really, really glad to know that, because I don't like animal death and children death. Spoil me every time for those, please.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but
I feel the exact same way about Sally Thorne. Like, I really love The Hating Game, and I hated everything else that she has written.
Aww.
Like,
I love her too, that I read.
Okay, I shouldn't say I hated them, but they like The Hating Game was like a book that like sucked me in, and I like loved being in that world. And the other ones, because I've read all of the books that she has come out with, and all of them were like, all right, you know, like they were like, they didn't grip me in the same way, and I don't know why they don't grip me in the same way when like The Hating Game is probably one of my favorite romance books.
Yeah.
I think with her, I'm sorry, we're not talking about the book anymore, but like, she's so interesting to me because I've never really fallen in love with any of her books, but I've also never hated any of her books at all. But with The Hating Game, I think so much of what made that such a hit for so many people was the timing, because there really wasn't a lot like that at the time when it came out, and then it got into the right hands of the influencers or whoever were talking about it, so other people were able to see it. And I just think that's also interesting. Like, so much of publishing, whether indie or traditional, is so much just chance, it feels like, if your book is going to be a hit or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely do, like, if I find an author that I really love, I will like compare their books to one another, which I guess is not fair, like, than just reading a book with no expectations. So it happens.
Whitney, My Love is one I really want to read. The
We'll stay real quiet about that one.
Lacey loves it, so I've got high expectations for this one.
I get high.
I remember your video about that one, Samantha. It was.
And I still need to read Sky O'Malley after Crystal.
Oh my gosh.
I have to
you
read that
need
too.
to read that just for the experience. I have never read a book like that in my life.
You're like, I don't know if I like this, but it's so good.
I just like, I could not stop reading it. I was like, I don't know what to think about this, but I'm here for it. So
yeah. Which is, I feel like, what we get with a lot of the old school.
Yeah, that's true.
They could just do whatever they wanted. And I'm like, I wish people could write that way now.
I know, right?
Without the consent issues.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's the thing that I think is so interesting about that too is how, like, especially with Sky O'Malley in that time period-ish, like early 80s, late 70s, like, because romance was so sort of new, or historical romance, they were really based off of like men's adventure novels, but they were for women. And I just find that so interesting how maybe that's why we don't have such adventurous novels now, because they're catering more to what they think the general population of who's reading them wants, which is so vastly different from a typical man's adventure novel that also has sex, and then you just got that, but sex and love. Anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I will say that, like, the new Christina Lauren book, that one had a lot of adventure vibes. Like, I very much read this and I was just like, oh, this is just like kind of like it's contemporary, it's not historical, but it is like 100% an adventure with a romance in it. And I was very into it. I was very into that. It's something longer. It's right.
Yep. Here. Which I haven't been loving their new stuff though, so I didn't read that one.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. But I will say, I have not read any of their old stuff. Like, it's on my TBR. It'll happen at some point.
I think the last one of theirs I read was The Young Honeymooners. And then I kept hearing people disappointed with their new releases, and so I was like, I'm gonna just skip this one.
I liked Twice in a Blue Moon, but anything after that, I didn't end up liking. Like the Honey Don't List, I didn't like. In a
Honey
Hundred
Don't List, I didn't
Days.
like. Dating you, I didn't love. I enjoyed Love in Other Words.
I like that one a lot.
I liked Once in a Blue Moon. I enjoyed the Soulmate Equation. It was all right. It was like, it's one of those books that I would like read again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like something that I would be like, oh, I need to reread it. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, if I found myself in a situation where I needed to read it again, I'd be like, oh, okay. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what other new ones that they had. I actually enjoyed their Christmas one, the Groundhog Day one. The only thing that I didn't love about it is that there wasn't really a whole lot of character growth from like the hero because of the Groundhog Day aspect of it. And so it was just all about her own journey. But I also, I don't know, I think I also like read it right around Christmas, and so I was just like in the right mood. And I was also like right at the very beginning of my Bookstagram journey, and so I was just like so excited and happy to like be making friends and like talking about books with people. So yeah,
I took a large gap of not reading any romance books after high school or whatever, and I picked up Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, and I loved it. Like it was my favorite book, and for the longest time, Christina Lauren was like my favorite author. So it is one of those situations where I'm comparing their books to like their older works, and I'm disappointed. I don't know why I haven't liked any of their recent stuff, but I think they're leaning more towards women's fiction. That's why I think that, but whatever.
Not the people in the comments though trying to persuade you to
gaslighting me. No, guys, literally look at this. Perfect with Chef's Kiss.
I love it.
That's Perfect in Paradise. Amazing. Okay, here's the thing. Every single Judith McNaught video I do, this is the comment that I'm not reading the correct to Judith McNaught. It has to be Paradise and Perfect. So I bought both of those books. Where are they? Here. I bought them both, and I'm doing a reading vlog on them. So
You're gonna read them?
Yes, because everybody's like, Samantha, you're going to love these two. You read the wrong Judith McNaught. So I'm going to read them just to prove that I'm correct. But it's
That's hilarious. I can't wait for that video. Are you doing Vlogmas, Samantha?
Yes. I'm exhausted. I'm trying to pre-film, and it's just so hard.
I'm starting pre-filming tomorrow, so right on schedule for me.
So you're doing a video a day?
I'm going to try this year. In years past, I've just vlogged every day and then posted them when it was like 20 minutes. But I'm going to try.
Last year, I got to day 29.
I remember. I watched all of them. They were fantastic.
Yeah. I got COVID, though, so I didn't finish. And then I was like, no, this year I'm going to finish. So, yeah, I will be doing Vlogmas. Somebody asked if we're all over the place in this live show. We did read Virginia Henley, Pirate and the Pagan, and we hated it. So
that's the one we all hated. Yeah, I think we all DNF'd it.
I think every single one of us DNF'd it. It was not fun.
I've only read one of hers. Well, I didn't even read the whole thing. It was try a chapter. So I read the first chapter, and I was like, I just could not get.
The writing was very weird.
Yes.
The covers are pretty.
But they're so pretty. I love her step backs too.
Yeah.
I will admit if I'm wrong, okay? If Judith McNaught did, I'll write a personal apology to McNaught. Okay?
Can you imagine that video?
I already know where the direction is going. But
I mean, it would be a great title, like Judith McNaught. I'm sorry for everything I've said.
Favorite historical romances on KU. Christy Caldwell. My heart and soul belongs to her. I love her.
Samantha introduced me to her, and I like her a lot too. Yeah, she's really good.
I don't have KU, so I don't actually know what's on KU. But
what? You don't read any books on Kindle Unlimited?
No,
I read primarily on KU.
I get most of my stuff through the library. It's actually
that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. So I have 11 library cards because if you live in California, you can get a library card from any library. You don't have to live there. And so every time I go visit, I get a different library card. And it makes it so that it's like super cheap to do it that way. Like I still have Audible because I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and some audiobooks are only available through Audible. Like they have like an exclusive deal, which I'm like very annoyed by. But yeah, I don't have KU just because like I have enough books at my disposal, but I don't think I need it. The only thing is that because it does mean that all of my like reading is very traditionally published skewed, because there isn't as much indie authors on libraries. Like I will say that LA and San Francisco and Sacramento tend to have a slightly better selection of indie published, but it is very traditionally published in its bend and in its skew. So yeah, though if Grace Calloway is on KU, I really like Grace Calloway. Like I like her writing. I've read a couple of her books and I enjoy it.
Yeah. I like Christy Caldwell, Scarlett Scott. Yeah, Scarlett Scott. And then Laura Kinsey. She writes novellas on KU that are queer historicals, which is always nice. And then who else is on KU? I'm trying to think. That girl, she wrote a poly romance. It was a mail order bride romance. Ugh, I can't remember the name. It's is
that Rebel Carter?
Yes, Rebel Carter is on KU. Mm-hmm.
There's a KU author that I've been wanting to try. It's been in my Kindle Unlimited library. Her name is Adele Klee. I've heard really great things about her, but I have not read her yet. So there's a name for you. once I'm in the mood for that, I will pick it up for sure.
I was just checking if one I just read is on KU, but I don't think it is. But it's indie published.
That Jess Michaels. Did you like that? Was that
by Jess Michaels?
Yeah.
My computer froze. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Looking that up, my computer did not like it. It was The Silent Duke by Jess Michaels. He cannot talk. And so his father disowns him, but he's been friends with her since they were children. And now she's a widow and she gets snowed in with him on Christmas.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
I love snowed in romances.
And then my library had the audio, so I really liked it.
What is the name of it again?
The Silent Duke. It's number 4 in the series, but I read it just fine. I feel like it wasn't missing anything.
Was it you who said you don't normally like historicals that are set during Christmas?
No, I just never read them.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a problem with them.
I don't like any historicals during Christmas. I'm like, why not? That's weird. Maybe it was.
I love
I need to read more.
I pretty much only read Christmas stuff around this time of year. And I tend to start just a little bit early to get myself in the mood for Christmas. So yeah, no, I'm excited for all of the Christmas content that I'm not going to make. Let's be real. I will take pictures and I'll think about it and I'll think about posting it, but I won't because I'm not great at that. I also am so busy all the time.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Do you guys have any other historical romances at sea? Not even they have to be pirates, but
I like the Beverly Jenkins both of her pirate romances, Destiny's Captive and what is the other one called?
Captured.
I really like Destiny's Captive because my girl's Dominican and speaks to my soul. So I really like that.
This one is set at sea. I don't know if you can tell. It's an improper proposal by Patricia Cabot. This is Meg Cabot's pen name. So she wrote the first 6 books under a pen name because she was really worried that her grandmother was going to find out that she wrote smutty romance. And so she wrote it under a fake name. And this one is my favorite of the series. I will say that I don't it has an age gap that even as a child, I was like, ooh, that's kind of weird because she's 16 and he's 33 or something like that. There's a wildly huge age gap, but it is, she is a, she grew up with a shipping company and her father owns a shipping company along with her brothers. And she's always wanted to captain her own ship. And when he is and she's always been in love with him. She's been pining after him for a really long time. And he is supposed to get married. And as a wedding gift, her father is giving the boat that she wanted to captain away as a wedding present. And so she thought she was very upset on his wedding day because she thought she was going to lose everything of his or everything that she wanted. And then some shenanigans happen at the wedding and he gets kidnapped. And so she stows away on a ship to rescue him. And then they get like marooned. And so it's like also a desert island romance. And so this is just like I feel like this would be a fun time to read for a book club. I've been trying to like convince people to read this book because I want to reread it. And if I read it with other people,
published?
It was published in 1999.
Maybe we could add it to the historical Hellions.
Yeah.
Before
So Julia Quinn gave this review. I'd read a cereal box if it was written by Patricia Cabot.
That's
all right, cool. Speaking of stowaway, I completely blanked Gentle Rogue by Johanna Lindsay.
Yeah.
My favorite Johanna Lindsay, and it's a pirate romance.
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. But Jess, you read pirate romances all the time. What are your recommendations?
So Night Secrets by Kat Martin. We're reading it at Kat Martin next month, but that one was really, really good. She stows away on his ship because she wants to run away from her home. I don't know if it's necessarily a pirate romance, but he's a ship captain. I read A Pirate's Love, gave it 2 stars. That was so bad. It was like literally non-consent the entire time. And when there was a consent scene, they skipped over it. So you only got to see the non-consent scenes. And I was like, this is super annoying. I do like the 2 Beverly Jenkins that you said, though. Those are really good. I feel like, was there another one that we read together that was not the Virginia Henley? I thought there was
one it was by
Heather Graham.
Yes, and it was the pirate one. It was
A Pirate's Pleasure. Is that the one that we read?
Yes.
That one was really good.
I liked that one. That one was bonkers.
Yes.
That one was bonkers.
So this is also, it's not pirate, but it is set at sea. I Kissed an Earl. So Julianne Long also writes this felt like very much like an adventure. There's like a whole spy aspect, and it also sets up, I will say, the one annoying thing about this book series is that she talks about a couple throughout this entire series, and they are book 11. So like we meet the hero of book 11 in this book. It's her brother, and there's like all of this mystery. Like they were like I don't know, but like the entire series is really good. I read them with the Fairyland Buddy Reads, and so I actually we had a chat with Julianne Long at the end of it, and I actually found out she's like from the Bay Area, and so at some point she and I will like meet up whenever she has like another like book event, and we like go dancing in the same place. So surprised I haven't.
She's so nice. I really think she's cool.
Yes, and so this is a lot of fun. I will say it is better in a series. Like I think you can read it by itself if you want to, but overall it is a better book within the context of the series. So
cool. I haven't read that one.
I've only read one book in that series. It's a very long one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've read the Lisa Clifford one at sea.
Only With Your Love? What? I don't think I've read that one either.
What is that one? Only With Your Love.
I'm looking at her shelf. I don't even see it. I don't know.
Okay. I always forget about this one. I've never read it. It's like one of the most forgettable covers, at least the one with the swans on it.
What is the original?
Oh, and the heroine's a prostitute. It's an Amnesia one. You've read this one, Jessica?
I did.
What is the original? Is that can't be the original cover? Is it?
No, that's a different one that you're thinking of, Samantha.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I haven't read this one, clearly.
She believes her beloved husband has been slain.
Oh, the original cover is so wonderful.
Is it one of her OG covers?
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
Oh, it's the pink one.
Yeah, the pink one.
Oh,
and then
I have that one.
They went and redid it with swans, which is the one I have, which is super dumb.
I have that one.
I have this one, but what does the spine look like?
I don't know where it is. Again, I don't know where anything is on my shelf.
Right there. I have it.
How many shelves do you have, Samantha? I keep telling my husband I need more shelves.
I have it.
So this has 4 shelves right here.
Yet.
This has 4 shelves right here on each side. They're the same, but these are entertainment centers, so they're very deep. So this is stacked 3 rows deep.
Nice.
And then I have a regular bookshelf that's only 1 row, and it's on the opposite. Like it's what I'm seeing right now. So I have 3 bookcases, and each one has 4 shelves each.
And they're not mounted to the wall.
No, they are not. But I also have Annie's face. I've had them like
Earthquake City. I don't want.
it's fine. It's okay.
They're just paperbacks. It'll be fine.
I'll survive. They followed on me before, and I lived.
Of you getting crushed in the middle of an earthquake by your books.
Why is it always an earthquake? There's never any earthquake.
Okay, actually, like in California, there's expected to be a really big earthquake because the pressure has like been building up. So I'm friends with like I'm an environmental engineer. I studied this in school, and I'm friends with people who actually like know about this. And so they're just like, yeah, in the next maybe like 5 to 10 years, there's gonna be like a really massive earthquake. And I'm just like,
Well,
you live in California.
death by
My
book.
books are just gonna fall.
Guys, stop cursing me. These bookshelves are fine. All right. We've been talking for about an hour. So thank you guys for joining us. I feel like this was the most chaotic live show, but it was so fun. The book that Jessica's holding up is our December pick, Midnight Rider by Kat Martin, which will be on Jessica's channel. And guys, it will be like our anniversary concluding 2 years of Historical Hellions, which is exciting.
That's exciting.
I know. We already have our 2023 first 3 months picked out, and it's on our Instagram, Historical Hellions. So thank you, Annie and Crystal.
Amanda Quick and Beverly Jenkins.
Thanks for having me. It was so fun. I'm excited for that next read. I haven't read that. I'll have to read that with you guys.
Mhm.
I'm excited for more Kat Martin.
Yeah. So we'll have all the live show information on our Instagram, and we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.